I have no idea how it looks from behind, but looks good from the front. So I haven't shown you guys what's been going on in the shed recently, so I'll give you a quick little tour. So we got our pump, pressure tank, water heater, electrical panel, washing machine. We've got lots of storage here, just so for a lot of our stuff that we don't really use very often. We're just storing it out here for right now. So I built this workbench probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I installed this metal pegboard. I haven't really hung anything up on it. I don't know exactly what I am gonna hang on it. This metal pegboard is just for some of the camera stuff that I use. So the 70D that I'm recording on, I usually just sit it here, and I've got some more storage for all different types of screws and nails and other little construction materials. And then all of our tools and just random materials I've been storing in the workbench here. It is certainly a little bit messy right now, but I'm gonna work on cleaning everything up. So just a little thing that I'm gonna work on today. I'm gonna install a 4-inch square box on this wall here, and then I'll probably move that shelf down. Then I'll have a place where I can start charging the drone batteries, camera batteries, and then also the drill batteries. Then I have another little project for inside the tiny house that I'm gonna finish working on today. And yeah, I'm gonna continue the fence another day. I'm actually gonna chat with one of our subscribers tonight who used to work, he said he used to work at a fence company for a very long time. So he's gonna give me a few tips, because apparently I did some of the bracing wrong. And I actually did it in a much more complicated way, using more materials, such as using those crimps. He sent me a picture of how you can do one of the slip knots without using the crimps. So I'm gonna talk to him on the phone tonight, and then start back on the fence tomorrow. So when I was working as an electrician, I mainly worked commercial and industrial, and I would say at least 90 to 95% of the wire that we ran, it was either armored cable like this called BX, or we were running wire through conduit, so either or. Very rarely did we actually run, we call it Romex, which is this wire here, which you normally find in homes. So in order to expose the wire that's inside here, basically you just take this and you just crack it. So you just pull it down, and then you want to spin it like that. Spin it kind of like the opposite way, then the armored cable comes apart. And what you do is you take your diagonal wire cutters, and then you just kind of get in there and just trim. Let's see if you can see that. Just cut that off, and then all you have to do is pull it off. So what I normally like to do, there's a bit of a sharp edge right there, so I just like to kind of just cut that little bit there so it isn't sharp. Then you take one of these bushings and just stick it in the end, just like that. And then you're basically ready to stick that into a BX connector. So the reason why in the shed that I'm using this wire instead of like normal house wire is because all the wire is exposed. So in a home, you don't see any of the wire. That's why you can use that Romex wire, like inside the studded walls. But when it's exposed like this, there's not really a lot of protection for the wire. So that's why when you're running exposed wire like this, you wanna use either armored cable or you wanna put everything into a conduit. And I know I'm stating the obvious here, but if you're working on any type of electrical project, you wanna make sure that all the wires that you're working on are completely dead. They have little sensors that you can basically buy in order to test whether the wire is live. I mean, there's many ways to figure out whether a circuit is live or not. Like you can plug something into one of the receptacles. Obviously, any type of light that is on the same circuit that you're working on, if you turn the circuit off and the light turns off, then you know that the circuit's gonna be off. All right. Just kidding. So say this wire was live here and I was working on it and I didn't turn it off for some reason. And I have my hand on this and say I touch something else. Basically that shock can go through my arm, across my chest, and then exit out my other arm. Even 120 volts can stop your heart. So even if you're just working on regular household wire, it can still potentially be deadly. It's quite rare, but it still happens. When you're dealing with 240 volt or 600 volts, that's where you can get a serious poke and it can really hurt you. That's why if you have no idea what you're doing and you don't want to risk injury, then hire somebody who will know what they're doing. You might have a friend, family member that is an electrician, even a lot of people that are, you know, handyman kind of guys. They've got a good amount of expertise or experience with electricity, and it's not something that is like super overly complicated. For the most part, you have 3 wires. You have a white wire, you have a black wire, and then sometimes you have a red wire, and then you also have the ground as well. As long as they have a basic understanding of how electricity and the circuits and stuff work, then they can usually do most things within a house without really any major issues or anything like that. We are good to go. So I'm making a little key hook slash, you can put your phone, you can put your wallet on there. That's gonna go at the front door. Then I'm gonna put this little hook here. You could hook your keys onto this, but Hannah has like a little backpack that she kind of uses as a purse. So she can hang that up at the front door. So this is just some of the old siding from the tiny house there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lightly sand off the corners just to kind of clean them up a little bit. And then on the edges here, I'm just gonna dab it with a little bit more stain. And then I'm gonna use these brackets here in order to put this together. And the reason why I'm using the brackets, like I could make some 45s using some of the wood, but you can see one side of the wood is nice, the other side's not so good. So if I were to do that, then I don't know, I just don't think that it would look very good because you'd be able to see this. It'd probably be on the inside of it. So I think these brackets, I think they're gonna work good. Hannah went to Tucson today, so I don't really have any screws, like any small wood screws that I could use. So I have a lot of these leftover screws from putting together IKEA shit. So the only problem with using these is that I just have to pre-drill a little bit, and then I can use these to attach the pieces together. But that's how I think it's gonna go. Then I'm just gonna use a few toggle bolts here, and I don't know exactly where I'm gonna mount those. Maybe I could actually just mount them using this screw hole right here, and then I can attach it right to the wall. I don't know if these are going to be long enough, but we'll give it a shot. Alright, so I just had to finish installing that. This is the following day. So I ended up actually getting some 3-inch toggle bolts because the 2-inch definitely were not going to be long enough. And today is going to be an exciting day. So what I'm going to basically do, so I talked to Jeremy yesterday, who he worked on fences for over 6 years. So I sent him some pictures of the fencing that we had. He said it's not really good stuff. It's not galvanized, it's not high tensile fence. So I'm gonna return all the fence to Lowe's today. I have to look for a spinning jenny because I actually got some real high tensile wire. So the wire that I was using for the bracing was just like utility wire, and that's why it actually snaps. Somebody noted that in the comments. The reason why I bought that other wire is because in order to get the high tensile wire, you have to buy a 4,000 foot reel. And I didn't really want to buy 4,000 feet because I probably only need a few hundred feet, not 4,000. It's not a huge expense, but I do need to go find a spinning jenny. I was in Sierra Vista yesterday. I checked out TSC here, TSC there. They didn't have it, so I'm gonna have to go to Tucson and maybe go to a fence supply company and see if they have a spinning jenny. All right, I will catch you guys on tomorrow's video. Talk to you soon. Peace.